Hello from Haddington. This is Kat aka Kakibot, and I usually make videos about Edinburgh, but because today the weather is this glorious and kind of like a blinding levels of sunny, we thought we would take a little day trip. So we popped into our car and went into the sort of general direction of East Lothian, and our first stop was Haddington, which is the super picturesque town. I've never been here before, more than just like driving through, but I went here because my favorite German bakery is here, and they used to have one in Edinburgh, but that one closed down. Now there's only one in Haddington, and if you want to have some amazing Black Forest gateau, you should definitely pop on a bus and get your butt to Haddington. So I think we should now go and have a little look what Haddington is all about. Haddington is about 17 miles away from Edinburgh and pretty easy to reach by bus. You can take bus number 104 or the X7, and it takes between 30 to 50 minutes to reach the town. In the High Middle Ages, Haddington was actually the fourth largest town in the whole of Scotland. It has a beautiful townhouse, an idyllic area around River Tyne, and the impressive 15th century St Mary's Collegiate Church. You might also notice a lot of goat-themed details, as goats are kind of the symbol of this town, and nobody is quite sure why. But honestly, it's just a wonderful place to stroll around and pay attention to all the wonderful historical buildings. And also to get apple strudel, just like your German Oma used to make. So our next stop, technically our third stop, because our second stop was the Preston Mill, which was kind of closed. I think that it was kind of closed because of all the wind and just like crappy weather we've had lately. But yeah, we still had a little look at the mill. We're gonna show you how that looked, and as you can see, it's a super charming place, and once it's like properly open to public, you should visit. Now we're in Dunbar, which now just makes me think of that very bad Christmas movie that Netflix put out, you know, when Brooke Shields moves to Scotland and buys the Dunbar castle, which I really believe doesn't exist. Definitely not here, because you're gonna see the Dunbar castle is like 4 rocks on a cliff. Anyway, it's really nice to walk around the seaside here, have a look at all the cliffy rocks and rocky cliffs. This is also the birthplace of John Muir, so if you're into like American national parks, you probably know that he's basically like the founding father of those. So you will see that there's like a nice like Scottish flag and American flag on his little museum that's on the high street here. You should definitely visit. We unfortunately didn't have the time for that, hopefully next time, but we still have about 30 minutes to drive to get to St Abbs. I've never been there, and that's the place from Avengers Endgame, you know, that's the place where Thor started his new Asgard. So yeah, that's where we're going, the new Asgard. The easiest way to access Dunbar is possibly the train, but the X7 and 104 will also take you here. Definitely pay a visit to the Dunbar Esplanade. It's an area from which you can nerdily observe Dunbar's unique geology. Quite a bit of the rocky beauty you can see from here actually comes from volcanoes, and it's not even covered in grass and castles like in Edinburgh. Those capital city suckers don't know what's good. time to drive further east now and visit St Abbs, aka New Asgard. It's a bit of a bumpy ride, but the coastal views were 10 out of 10. And we have hit our final destination. Thankfully not as horrible as in the movie series Final Destination. Anyway, this is St Abbs, aka New Asgard, and as you can see, just like in the movie, the only thing it's missing is chunky Thor, my favorite type of Thor. Anyway, I think that this is a really cute, interesting spot to visit, especially if you're already in the area. I think like if you're visiting Berwick-upon-Tweed or somewhere like that, or you know, if you're in East Lothian, you should put this on your list. We are now on like the lookout spot from which you can see the fishing harbor, which is actually really interesting. Like normally harbors are apparently owned by the council, but this harbor was owned by the fishermen. And another kind of a slightly sadder part of the history of St Abbs, which is connected to the little memorial statue, which I'm going to show you in the B-roll, is that at the end of 19th century there was like a huge storm, and it basically wiped out all the fishermen who were out in the sea, like leaving all these women and children left fishermen husbandless. So yeah, this place is not just about Marvel movies, it's also about a slightly sad history of Scottish fishermen. You can also see St Abbs Head from here, which is kind of like this cliffy area, which if you're into hiking you should also visit. I don't think we're gonna have time for it because the sun is kind of coming down. It's still winter, so the days are not very long. But I think that if you wanted to come here and you had more time than we do, pop over there. The cliffs are beautiful, and honestly I thought that at this point of the day there wouldn't be much sunlight, but the sun is setting in a way that's just like giving everything this beautiful texture. It's really photogenic. You should visit this little spot. Okay, and as I said, this was the... Sorry, did I just... No, you're fine, just keep going. And as I said, this was our last point of this little day trip into East Lothian, although St Abbs technically I think is in the borders, which surprised me, but yeah, that's a not so fun fact for you. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed it. Maybe this gave you like a little bit of inspiration if you're looking into spots you can visit from Edinburgh by bus or car. And yeah, let us know in the comments below if you've ever been in any of these spots, if you have any other favorites in the area, and maybe we will visit them next time. Okay, as always, you can visit me on Instagram, on Kakibot and Kakiblog, also in my Etsy store, link in the doobly-doo, and I shall see you soon. Bye-bye. And don't forget you're worthy, like Thor.